And if you guys are wondering if I have done dirty things to her, no. All right, I'm not that kind of guy. You know, I used to kill that other girl, you know, and I regret it. I regret killing her. You know, she's kept screaming, and I had to silence her forever.
Warning. Our podcast is uncensored and is intended for adult listening only.
The stories we tell you are usually filled with disturbing content, including crimes against children, domestic violence, murder, and all other terrible things.
Be advised this is not for the faint of heart or easily offended.
Please do not listen if you are sensitive to these issues or topics. Welcome back to another episode of True Crime Story.
Oh, hello.
Wow.
That was a different welcome. Yeah, we haven't said that one yet.
We haven't, but it's a gooder, right?
Yeah, I'll probably reuse that one.
So today we are talking about the murder of Kaylee and Sawyer. I think you said that this isn't ringing any bells for you, Shar?
The name doesn't, no.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we're both bad
anything
with names. Yeah, word. So I'll just get right into it. So Kaylee and Sawyer, people who knew her also referred to her as KK. Kaylee was born on March 2nd, 1993 at St. Charles Medical Center in Bend, Oregon. Bend, Oregon is where she was raised and where she stayed all the way up until she was tragically murdered at the age of 23. Kaylee worked as a dental assistant and eventually ended up going back to school. She became a student at the Central Oregon Community College, which I will refer to as the COCC, in Bend, Oregon. She had a large family who loved her very much and was living with her boyfriend and love of her life, Cameron Reimhofer, on campus at the community college. Her hobbies included photography, drawing, poetry, and snowboarding. Kaylee was also an enrolled member of the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe, South Dakota, and the great-great-great-granddaughter of Chief Joseph Forebear. On Saturday, July 23rd, 2016, Kaylee went out for a friend's bachelorette party. She got dressed up in a black dress, brown boots, carrying a green purse, and headed out to downtown Bend for the party and bar hop. Just past midnight, she texted her boyfriend Cameron to pick her up. Once in the car, they argued, as so many couples do. She had said to her dad at one point that she was trying to figure things out. Like, it was a couple of days before, so like he checked in on her and she was like, oh, just trying to figure things out. So like maybe she was having some kind of internal battle or something was going through her mind. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they were having that argument. She had also had some drinks, of course. So it also may have just been alcohol induced.
Yeah.
When they got back to their apartment 10 minutes later, their fight had escalated to the point where Cameron told Kaylee to take a walk to cool off. Now there is contradicting like details there. It's either maybe she went on a walk to cool off or maybe she was sitting and waiting in the car. Either way, this isn't the first time that had happened, so this was not anything to raise too much concern with Cameron. It was like, okay, cool off and then come back when you're ready. But okay. She usually came back pretty quickly, and so when she hadn't returned 10 minutes later, he went out to look for her. At 12:30, he began texting her to come home. Cameron apologized, asking her to come home to talk, pleading with her. Told her that he had driven up and down the college way to look for her and wasn't able to find her. They argued over text, and the last message he received from her was, "Are you kidding? Because that's bullshit. Goodbye. Phone off."
She sent that to him?
Yes. Eventually, he headed home, thinking Kaylee was taking the night to herself. The next morning, he tried to call her at 9 a.m. He woke up, and she still wasn't in bed, so obviously he was like, what the heck is going on? So the next thing that he could do after he wasn't able to get her on the phone is he went to friends' places to see if she had stayed the night. But after all his efforts, she was still missing and her car was still parked in its spot. Not knowing what to do, Cameron called Kaylee's father, who was in Sunday church at the time. But even though he was in Sunday church, he still picked up the phone. Cameron told him that he couldn't find her, and then both of her parents tried to call her, and they were going to voicemail as well. This is when Cameron called 911, and I'm going to play that 911 call.
Dispatch, how can I help you? Hello?
Hi. I'm not sure if this is quite the right number to call. Last night I got home from the bars with my girlfriend, and she got upset at me and ran off. And I chased her and wasn't able to find her, and I still haven't heard from her. Her phone's off. I called all her family, and they haven't heard from her, so I'm wondering what you recommend I do.
We can put in a call and we can have officers or deputies look for her.
Okay.
And where was she last seen at?
College Way.
College and what?
Alpine Meadows apartment complex. It's like at the top of College Way.
In that apartment complex?
Yes.
In a specific apartment or
In the parking lot.
just in the parking lot? You guys don't live there? Or?
Yes, we live there together.
Okay, what's the address? Just like she was mad.
Yeah, she was mad at me, so I walked inside and told her to come meet me, and then when she's like, calm down. And then I went back out in 10 minutes, and she was gone. And I called her a few times, and she said she was walking down the street. And then I guess she said her phone was about to die, and then I couldn't get a hold of her after that. I haven't heard from her since.
Okay. She took off on foot.
Yes.
What's her last name?
Sawyer.
Sawyer?
Yes.
First name?
Kaylee. Kaylee.
And what's her date of birth?
March 2nd, 1993.
All right, we'll have an officer get in contact with you. If she gets in contact with you, they'll give us a call back.
Okay, will
All right.
do.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, bye.
Kaylee's mother, Julie, told police that Kaylee had epilepsy with the plan to exaggerate to get the police to handle the situation with the urgency that they needed, which was very clever of her. The only seizure that she had was a few years back, and it was very well managed. But
This is, okay, this part here is ringing a bell.
yeah, because Julie really spoke about it and said, like, and I would do it again, because when you're that close, they were a close-knit family. When you're that close, you know that when something's wrong, something is wrong. So
Yeah.
they knew. They put up missing posters and they all searched desperately for her. The next day, she didn't show up at work, which confirmed that she must have been in trouble, at least to police. Her family kind of already figured, but not showing up to work was fully not something that she would ever do. That same Monday morning, around noon, rookie cop Isabel Ponce Lara went to the Redmond police and made a report that morning her husband, Edwin Lara, confessed that he had killed a woman. So this is a rookie cop who was like, yeah, my husband just went bonkers. So
What? Okay, what? So a cop's husband admitted that he had killed a woman?
yeah, so I'll get into a little bit what she went through with him.
Okay.
But yeah, she ended up having to do that, which is just such a bizarre thing for a rookie cop to have to do. Edwin had been acting weird all Sunday morning. So just to reiterate, Kaylee went out and went missing Saturday night, technically super duper early Monday or Sunday morning, because it was just past midnight and she was walking around just past midnight until like 1-ish, maybe 1:30. Edwin was acting weird all Sunday morning, making his wife suspicious of his behavior. He hadn't answered her text from the night prior, but he was in bed when she woke up around 8 a.m. on that Sunday morning. Edwin was a security guard at COCC, the college that Kaylee had been attending and lived on that campus. And he had just worked the night shift before attending church with his wife that next morning, Sunday. He wasn't affectionate that day to his wife and was just very quiet, which was out of character. They got Pizza Hut and watched Netflix for a bit, and then he suggested they could go out to see a movie. The rookie cop did take notice of his withdrawn behavior, and one other odd thing, as they drove to the movie theater, he kept the windows cracked open. She thought that was weird.
This is what time of year? Sorry, what month?
July. What he did say to her and what she said to police when telling them that it was weird is he blew it off saying, that he was hot, that it was hot in here. But she said that he never did that. So it was weird to her and something that her trained eye, trained mind subconsciously picked up on.
Right.
The next morning, it seems he snapped. So Monday morning. He told her about a horrific accident, stating he had hit someone with his campus security car, and when he confirmed they were dead, he hid the body. He also told her that he had hid the person's belongings in their shed. He left with his wife's handgun, and that's when she went to report what happened to the police. She told the police about everything that could have been even a little weird or off, including details about Edwin's prior affair with a woman in California, which isn't that important, but eventually, I'm assuming when he eventually gets on the run and he's trying to make it to California, I can only assume that it's just trying to get to that woman, but I don't know.
Wow.
He doesn't make it that far. Spoiler alert. Okay. The police followed up quickly, finding a trash bag in their shed holding the belongings of a female, including a green purse soaked in blood. Yeah. Inside of the purse, they found the ID card of missing person Kaylee Ann Sawyer. They also found chunks of bloody blonde hair. I think her boots and her clothes were in there as well as a hefty rock stained and covered in blood.
Wow. And he's claiming to his wife that he had hit her with his car.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no. I mean, I can suspect what's going to happen here, but just confirming what his original story is. But please continue.
So Edwin had studied criminal justice, and in the shed, police also found a bulletin board, science fair style project board, you know what I mean? The ones with those flaps, that he had done on the railroad killer, who was a Mexican serial killer who killed at least 15 people. And the board had fake blood on it, and then had photos of the murder, the victims, just it was a little gross, kind of showed his morbid side.
Really? Wow. Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. But I mean,
Here's
hopefully I've never suspected of anything, because I'm totally guilty in the eyes of some people because of the stuff that I absorb and watch.
Yeah, or search in your timeline. I'm totally there with you. The biggest part about this, at least that they were able to find that huge connection to, is that the railroad killer was kind of known for the occasional times where he would use rocks to bludgeon his victims. And Kaylee, presumably because there was a bloody rock found in the bag, was hit by that rock.
Right.
So, and that was the only big thing there, and it was in perfect condition. He cared for it. He loved it. He was so proud of it.
That rock.
No, that rock. That rock was thrown in the green purse, the science fair bulletin board on the railroad killer. Over time you'd think that it would start to get bent up or something, but the photos of it was still in great condition.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, it's weird. The rock thing, it's a little weird. So he said that to his wife, and then he left the house in his Nissan. He drove to his parents' house in Redmond and swapped cars, leaving his own with them. When police found the Nissan, they noticed dried blood in the trunk and on the rear bumper, as well as hair.
Okay.
So he's so guilty. He's on the run, is what's happening now.
Yeah.
Edwin had taken off in his parents' Subaru Legacy, driving to Salem, where he parked outside of a Ross Dress for Less store. Edwin saw a woman named Andrea sitting in her Volvo car looking at her phone and decided to use her in his escape. Andrea had just gotten off of a 12-hour shift at that Ross Dress for Less and was taking a selfie that she had uploaded to her social media right before he decided to stick his gun into the passenger side of her window and then get in and, shouted at her to drive to California.
Wow. Terrifying.
Yeah, so this is his second victim now, although she does survive. The only deceased victim is Kaylee, I will say that. But everybody else that I mentioned is also a victim of his crimes, obviously. This woman is kidnapped at gunpoint.
And I mean, I often wondered because you know how there's self-defense and then tips and advice coming out over time about how women can protect themselves. And more recently, like I'd say in the past 10 years, the don't linger, don't sit in your car and look at social media for prolonged periods of time. I always wondered where that came from, but that makes total sense. If you're sitting in your car, you're kind of a sitting duck for anybody that's in the area looking to do harm.
Yeah,
So,
and what he was doing was he was sitting there and waiting for there to be enough people not there, to be
right.
concealed, if you will.
Yeah.
And he had told her that he attempted to do the same thing to a pregnant woman before her, but she had brushed him off and gotten in the car and was like, fuck off, and left.
Classy. Good for her.
Yeah, and so I feel like that was another way almost to manipulate Andrea to be like, it's you or a pregnant woman.
Right.
But yeah, no. So he got her to drive at gunpoint. And on the highway, he was boasting about being a cop and asked her if she had heard about the woman that he killed. He was wearing a like a police bulletproof vest. He was dressed. He was pretending. He was playing cop is what he was doing, which is practically what he was also doing when he was being a security guard. Is he was playing cop. When she was driving too fast for him because he didn't want to get pulled over for speeding, he swapped places with her and cuffed her to the car in the passenger seat. He still had his wife's service gun, he stole his wife's gun, and was wearing that bulletproof vest again. I know I already said that, but they stopped in a motel in Southern Oregon and got a room. The entire time, he forced her to pretend like she was his girlfriend, threatening to kill her and the front desk clerk if she gave him away. There's footage of him at the slide window getting a key because it was later on at night. And, you can tell that she's a little distraught, but she's fully doing her best to blend in, covering her face when she feels like she needs to cry. And the desk clerk didn't suspect anything, so they got a room key, and once in their room, he handcuffed her to the bed frame and forced her to take sleeping pills. She tried
a lot of them.
A few. Mm-hmm.
Is he trying to kill her, or is he trying to make her go to sleep?
What she thought was that he was trying to get her to go to sleep so that he could take advantage of her.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So because she was worried about that, she tried her hardest to stay awake. Her alarm went off a little bit later on her phone, and she came up with a clever lie, telling him that it was to remind her to take medication for an STI. he didn't touch her after that.
Good for her.
Right. And like she was like a beautiful woman, so like she knew that this man, if he's already going to kidnap me and hold me at gunpoint, like apparently
Yeah.
he was very flirty in the way that he was talking to her. She got like the very solid vibe that that was his plan, and she needed to come up with a way to make sure that he didn't touch her.
Good for her. Kudos.
I agree.
That should be added to the self-defense, how women protect themselves list.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I always know about is just pee on yourself. You know, that might deter them. It's crazy, but like that is what I would do. I would pee. But anyway, so that night Edwin was paranoid. You know, looking out the window, thinking that cops were going to be in helicopters looking for him or seeing him, or maybe he was already caught and they were following him and tailing him. When they left the motel, Edwin seen that her vehicle was leaking oil, so he wanted to get a different vehicle. That whole time, he made Andrea follow him everywhere, using her as a human shield, you know, again, just in case police could see him.
Yeah.
His third victim was Jack Levy, a man who had been in the area simply to take photos of butterflies. A sweet man.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Edwin pulled a gun on him in an attempt to steal his car, but Jack called for help and Edwin shot him in the stomach. Side note, Jack was able to make a full recovery. Like I said, Kaylee's the only one who ended up being murdered by Edwin.
Wow, just up and shot him in the guts.
Oh yeah, no, he's like this crazy person on the run who can't just like take a vehicle and go or something. He's like he's boasting about it. He wants to look people in the eye and be like, "What's up? This is what I'm doing." Like, I don't.
This seems like such a quick spiral. Like if
All of a
rookie
sudden,
cop didn't know that there was something going on with her husband, and then all of a sudden he's doing all these things, you'd think that there would be some kind of hint to his predilection before all this started, or he had some kind of a psychotic break or something. You know, it just doesn't seem.
Or you would think that maybe he took advantage of another woman or something, some kind of like lead up to it, but
Like a trigger, something that
the
maybe
trigger
couldn't,
very well may have been that he bumped Kaylee with his car. But we'll get into the differentiating stories soon.
bumping somebody with a car is not going to leave blood and stuff on it unless he drove. I'm gonna shut up and just let you go ahead. I'm just yeah. You go ahead.
No, he's a weirdo for sure, and he does end up admitting that growing up he always had the urge to kill. So maybe that gave him more motivation to do his best to blend in. And maybe that's why the officer was never able to pick up on anything, because he was always trying his hardest to blend and be normal.
Okay, fair enough.
So after he shot Jack, he left with Andrea on foot to a nearby gas station. There, he targeted a family parked. Edwin stole a car with a woman and her 2 teen grandsons inside. The father of the boys was still in the gas station store. He drove with Andrea, the woman, and her 2 grandsons 15 miles south on Interstate 5. Edwin told everyone in the car that he killed a girl in Bend and that he had that urge to kill, and that he also had just shot a man. He then dropped
Could you imagine?
Oh, no, it would be terrifying. And literally, he was just boasting in it. He told them that, and then he dropped the woman and the 2 grandsons on the side of the road. Now, I don't know if maybe, like, Andrea was talking him down, or if, like, literally he just wanted to be like, well, I did this. Now you can go. Now that you know that who you're really dealing with. That's the vibe that it gave me when I was looking at all this stuff.
Maybe something to do with the age of the woman, or you know what I mean? There could be something psychologically deeper on why he didn't hurt them.
True.
Or if he's in a psychotic break, then I mean his actions wouldn't necessarily make sense. So
I think that
continue.
I think he was in a spiral for sure, but I think that he started coming out of the spiral slowly. He was like, okay. Like, 1 second he was wanting to get away, the next he was like, what the fuck am I doing? I am
Yeah.
not going to make it very far.
Yeah.
So he sped down the highway with Andrea still in the car. Edwin asked her to open the camera on her phone and record a video of him, which you can go and see. He was like talking about how he had to silence Kaylee because she screamed. So he got her to post that on Facebook and caption it "Murderer on the Loose and Kidnapped."
Who posted it?
Andrea posted it. So
What?
yeah, he got her to post the video, like film the video and then post it for him.
That's crazy.
I know.
Was this like before live streaming? Like,
no.
wow. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna shut up. You just continue.
He just wanted to. He was boasting, and he liked to boast to the people that he had talked to thus far, and he thought, like, well, what's the fastest way I could do that all at once? Boom. I think he wanted his 10 seconds of fame. On Tuesday, July 26th, police were following him in the vehicle. He's seen it, and then he called 911. Now I'm going to play that 911 call, which just shows that he's like really stupid. But eventually the operator is able to get him to pull over.
Okay. Okay.
Tuesday, 7/26/2016 at 06:40.
911 emergency reporting.
Yes, hi. This is Edwin Lara, and I'm the guy on Interstate 5 going at high speed. I know you guys have the chopper on me already.
Yeah.
And, I just want to say I am going to turn myself in.
Okay, where are you at?
Okay, I'm on I-5. I think close to Reading, if I'm right. So, I am wanted for murder in the state of Oregon.
Okay. Edwin,
Yeah.
where are you at right now? Can you stop?
I am going to stop once I hit Reading. Once I'm in Reading, I'm going to stop.
Okay, can you tell me where you are right now?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Let's see. There's a sign right here. 50 miles from Reading.
You're 50 miles away. Can you see a mile mark or anything?
From Corning.
You're 50 miles from Corning.
Yeah, 50 miles from Corning. 50 miles south or north of Corning.
Are you by yourself or?
No, I have someone with me. I kidnapped her in Oregon. She's innocent. Her name is Andrea. What's your last name?
He doesn't know.
I'll let her give her last name so you can call her family, okay?
Okay.
Just give me a second.
What's your name?
Hello?
Yeah, hi. What's your name?
Andrea?
Andrea, what's your last name?
Maes, M-A-E-S?
Okay, are you hurt at all, Andrea?
No.
No? Okay. Do you know where you are? Let me talk to Edwin again.
Okay. Alright.
Hello?
Yeah, Edwin, you're heading southbound on 5?
Yeah, I'm heading southbound on 5. I'm
Did
50
you make
miles
it past?
away.
Okay, I'm sorry. Did you make it past Reading yet?
I think I did. I'm 50 miles from Corning.
You're 50 miles from Corning?
Yeah, 15.
Oh, 15 miles from Corning.
Yes. So I'm passing a state trooper, a highway patrol right now.
You're what, sir?
I'm passing a highway patrol.
Okay, where are you at, though?
I am Flores Avenue, 1 mile from Flores Avenue.
1 mile from Flores. Are you able
Yes.
to safely find somewhere to stop?
I'm not going to stop right here. I'm just going to turn myself in Corning. Okay?
Are you going to Corning Police, or where are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to Corning Police. But I want to ask you a favor.
Uh-huh.
So I have asthma.
You have asthma? Okay.
Yeah, so you tell them not to be too rough on me because, I can barely breathe right now. All right, so that's all I wanted to say.
Do you
I
need
don't
any
want.
kind of medical, or?
Yeah, well, I think so. I'm gonna need my inhaler. I forgot my inhaler at home. You know, I went all over Salem, Oregon, looking for an inhaler, but I guess they don't sell it, you know, behind the counter or out of counter. So
Edwin, how fast are you going?
I'm going about 120 miles an hour
You're going
right
about
now.
120 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Can you slow down?
Well, I want to make it there quick. That way I can turn myself in.
Well, the officer sees you. That we just don't want you to speed away from anything. If you can stop and just give yourself in, it'll probably be easier.
Well, there's an officer behind me right now.
Okay, they see you. We're talking to him. They see you.
Yeah, she's seeing me. I think it's a she. She's right behind me.
Okay, the officer sees you, and are you able to safely stop?
Yeah, I can stop, but not right now. I'll stop in Corning.
What's the difference from stopping now in Corning?
I just don't want to stop right here in the middle of the road, you know, putting myself in danger and putting everybody else in danger, more in danger, I guess.
You know, they won't. They're aware. I'll let them know they won't. But if you can stop safely, they just don't want you to run. They think you're trying to run or anything.
Okay. Yes,
Edwin, do you have any weapons with you?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I do have a gun on me. I am not going to flash the gun, so you tell them not to shoot me.
Okay.
No, I don't want to die.
Okay, you stick by your word, though. I'll let them know.
Yeah, I'm going to let them know. You know, don't hurt Andrea. You know, she's a nice girl. You know, don't hurt her. I'm actually calling my family just to say bye to them. So once I'm done calling all my family, then I'll turn myself in.
Okay, we can get a hold of your family if you want.
I already called my wife. I called a lot of people already. I am wanted for the death of Kaylee Sawyer at Bend, Oregon.
What's the girl's name? Kaylee what?
Sawyer?
Sawyer?
Yes. Or Swire, maybe?
And she was from Bend, Oregon?
Yes. I just want to say that it was an accident. So I work for Campus Public Safety there. And she was really drunk, and I didn't see her, and I run her over.
Okay.
And then after that, you know, I just she was still breathing, and then she was screaming, and I decided to silence her forever.
Okay.
And I am very remorseful for that, and you know.
Okay.
I know her.
Edwin, are you able to stop? The officers behind you, they don't know if you're running and stuff or trying to run from them. So if you can safely stop, they'll have the freeway block and nobody will get hurt if you just try to
Okay.
stop.
You want me to read the plate for you?
Your plate?
The officer, the police officer's plate?
No. You don't need to read the police officer's plate.
Okay. Because I want her to just get in front of me if she can.
Why do you want her in front of you?
She can move all the traffic. I'm not gonna shoot anybody, I promise.
I know, but you have to realize they have to take care. It's for their safety and for your safety as well. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
All right, so I'm about to get to Corning. I'm like 4 miles away.
Okay. Where are you at now? Can you tell me where you are?
I am 4 miles from Corning.
Okay. The girl that's with you, how old is she? Andrea, how old is she?
How old are you? She's 19.
19 years of age? Okay.
Yeah.
Does she have any weapons or anything, or?
Nah, she doesn't.
She doesn't.
I honestly, I did kidnap her. We drove her car, you know, and her car died on us, so I had to borrow somebody else's car. You know, basically that's what it is.
Okay.
But yeah.
So, Edwin, can you pull over safely for the officer?
Right here, right now?
If you can find a safe spot, you can pull over the shoulder. They're going to have a freeway block. Nobody will get hurt. But I just don't want you to run from them and they think you're running from them. So if you can just pull over, find a safe spot completely out of the lanes. Don't stop in the lanes or anything. Find a safe spot and just pull over.
Okay. I'll slow down for them.
Okay, you're going to slow down?
Yeah, I'm going to slow down.
Okay.
You know, I don't want somebody else to get hurt.
Good. So are you going to stop?
Yeah, maybe. I will stop right now. I'm just, you know, I'm shaking up. I mean, I'm shaking.
I understand.
I don't want to get shot. I mean,
okay, I will let them know, but you need to make sure you just listen carefully, okay?
Okay. And just to let you know, I have a bulletproof vest too.
You do? Are you wearing it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, you're not going to try to do anything, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
You want me to throw my gun out of the window right now?
You know, not right now. No, don't do that right now.
All right.
I just want you to stop
Or
safely.
I could just give it to Andrea and see if she wants to kill me.
No. You don't want to do that to her and yourself.
All right. So yeah, I'm just gonna call her grandma and apologize, and then I'll stop.
You know, right now, let's just kind of worry about you stopping.
Okay.
Just worry about stopping and getting you guys both safe. Okay.
All right. Okay, I'll stop.
Okay.
I'll hang up now.
No, I'm gonna stay on the line with you. Okay.
Okay. Well, basically, or technically, it's illegal to talk on the phone and drive, right?
You know, if you're calling in an emergency, and you know what, this is just a totally different circumstance. Okay.
Okay.
That's the last thing we need to worry about right now.
Yes.
So,
I know this is being recorded, and I just want to say to the family of Kaylee that I am sorry. I am sorry for what I did to her, and in time I will tell them where the body is. I will just, that way she can rest in peace.
do you want to let me know, or just have this recorded where it is?
No, I remember.
Okay.
So, hopefully the police officer doesn't shoot me, and I'll survive,
Yeah. Well,
But
we're not going to let that happen. Like, you just do what you're supposed to do and do what you're told to do.
I left a vehicle with a note, in what is that place called? In Salem, Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah, in what's the mall called? The Ross. Yeah, there is a Ross in the Lancaster in Salem.
And what is it called?
What is the address for the mall?
Oh, the mall.
Yeah, it's a Ross. A Ross Mall.
Ross,
R-O-S-S.
Oh, Ross Mall.
Yeah. So, or a store, or whatever you want to call it. So it's a store. I left a station wagon, that I sold from my parents.
Uh-huh.
Well, I was borrowing it. I told them that I was going to borrow it. And so I drove it all the way to Salem, and I parked it right in front of the mall, and there's a note there just in case. Hopefully not, but just in case I die.
What kind
there's
of car
a note
was it? You
there.
said it was a station wagon?
Yeah, it's a station wagon. It's registered to my stepfather. My stepfather's name is Yes. And I'm pretty sure somebody noticed it already.
Okay. So
And that's where I kidnapped Andrea too.
Okay.
She works at that Ross store.
Okay. So Edwin, are you going to stop for the officers?
Yeah, I am. As soon as I'm done talking to you, I'll
Okay.
stop.
I'll stay on the line with you. I just want to make sure you stop safely and just think about what you're doing as well.
Okay, I'll let you talk to Andrea.
Okay. Are you going to stop?
Yeah, I'm gonna stop.
Okay. Once you stop, make sure they can see your hands at all time. Okay.
All right. Just tell them I'm gonna go into that casino.
You're going to go into the casino?
Yep. I'm not gonna go inside the building. Just into
You're
the
just going to
parking
stop
lot.
in the parking lot?
Yes. That way we get out of the freeway, because I don't want to put the officers in danger.
Okay. So once you get there to the parking lot, can you just make sure they see your hands at all times?
Yes, I will.
Where's your gun at?
I promise. It's in between my legs. Let's tell them that not to be
Did you
too
already
rough.
pass the casino?
Yeah, actually I did.
Why'd you tell me that then?
Because I couldn't find. I'm trying to find the road. I don't think there is a road to get in there.
There is.
There
I
is.
see you passed it.
Okay, I see a bridge, and I was trying to get there to see if I find a way to get to a casino.
Okay, are you able to safely just pull over then, so the officers don't keep them chasing you? Just pull over.
Yeah, I'll pull over right now. Okay, I'll let you talk to Andrea.
Okay, just don't hang up.
I'm not. Don't hang up. She doesn't want you to hang up.
Hello?
Yeah, hi, Andrea. Are you
Hi.
okay? You don't need any medical or anything?
No.
Okay, so Edwin, where's his gun at? Does he have it still between his legs?
I don't know.
Can you see it? He said he had it between his legs. Is he stopping?
Yeah.
He is stopping?
Mhm.
Okay, make sure your hands are up too and stuff. I know you're on the phone right now, but just hold your hand up so they can see your hands too.
Okay.
I'm going to stay on the line with you until the officers get there, okay? And you're going to be okay. Andrea?
Mhm.
Does he have his hands up?
Yeah.
He does have his hands up? Okay. Just tell him to make sure that the officers
Hey, who are you? Tell him I can't.
He said he can't hear her.
Do I get out or do I?
Tell him we're letting the officers know that he can't hear her.
He's already walking towards them.
He's walking towards him. Tell him to make sure he holds his hands up.
Yeah, he is.
He is. Tell him to turn around and don't walk towards him. He can walk backwards towards him.
I can't. He's too far.
Okay. And if you want to do the same, once he gets out and stuff, just turn around and walk backwards towards him. Don't walk facing him.
Okay. Do I stay on the line with you?
Once you get out, I'll go ahead and disconnect the line. Once you get out, can you see, do they have him in custody already?
They're putting the cuffs on him right now.
Putting the cuffs on him?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to hang up and just get out and you walk backwards towards him with your hands up, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Andrea, it's going to be okay.
She told me to stay in the
She
car.
told you to stay in the car? Okay, then
Yeah.
whatever instructions they give you, then do that.
Okay.
Okay, if she's giving you instructions, go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and get off the line, okay? And just whatever instructions. Okay, all right, bye.
I'm a little shocked that,
You haven't seen any of it?
yeah, like where have I been?
I know, it's crazy, and honestly, it gets even crazier.
How?
Do you say how?
Yeah, how?
Maybe not including Edwin so much, but like, I don't know, in my opinion, what happens to Kaylee's mom after, I'll get to it. It's, to me, it's the more heartbreaking part of it, but yeah, I'll get to it. I don't really want to dive in too early, but obviously the officers were able to get him arrested and taken in, and they were also able to get him to confess to the location of Kaylee's body pretty quickly. You know, just fucked with him just a little bit, and eventually, like, it took a little bit of time because he was obviously like stuck in his own head being like, I want this, and then I'll tell you where her body is. And then the dude said, like, okay, you seem like you're trying to paint a picture. Like, the officer said this, like, you're trying to paint a picture that you are not a piece of shit. But let me tell you, you're going to look like a piece of shit if you don't tell us where her body is without requests. Like, why don't you just tell us? And then he ends up drawing them like a little map, and they rush out to that location beside a highway in Oregon where he tossed her body.
Wow.
Yeah. So Kaylee's family was warned against looking at the autopsy photos due to the state of her body. It was ruled that she had died from blunt force trauma.
When it hit her with the
Rock.
Oh, it's terrible.
Police later found 2 notes Edwin had written in his parents' abandoned vehicle and left them in there. Those notes were written as if he was like 2 years old. Like, so I don't know. Maybe he was shaking but like they're really hard to read. But they pretty much said that he was sorry to Kaylee's parents for murdering her, stating it was an accident and that she had screamed, so he had to silence her, but it wasn't meant to be forever. He also apologized to his wife, stating he would love her forever. Another said that he killed Kaylee on the B12 lot on College Way. Edwin lied for a while as police pushed and pushed for further answers, kind of dancing around the full truth. An accidental car hit, followed by her scream. He grabbed her neck to stop her. Just varying pieces of misleading information that he was painting of a man who just wasn't as calculating as he really was. So he was trying to make it look like he was just in like these bursts of fits of panic. Like, oh, I bumped her and then I panicked and then she screamed and then I panicked. So I did this and then she did this. So I did this.
Well, pretty common for these guys to minimize, right? Minimize what they've done.
Exactly. But, you know, they push on and they're telling him, you know, it doesn't make sense. You're saying that, you know, nobody could hear her where she was. She screamed, but you felt compelled to silence her even though nobody could hear where she was. And it just doesn't piece together.
And he said twice, like, I had to silence her forever. It's not like...
Yeah. He found, like, a weird, like... It's almost like he thought it was poetic every time he said it. You know, like, it's almost like his brain came up with this idea that, like, that sentence really worked for him. Because he repeated it way too much. And he also repeated the fact that he had the urge to kill.
Right.
So, what happened? What happened? Kaylee walked away from the apartment and came across the patrol SUV. She ended up in the back of the patrol vehicle, trapped. How? Who knows? I don't think that he hit her with his car. I think he's full of shit. Edwin propositioned her, offering her money, obviously propositioning her for sex. She refused, so he took her purse and phone. He then choked her until she was unconscious. He drove her to a secluded area where she came to, and she began to shout and scream. Though there was no one to hear her, he choked her out again. Then he took a rock to her head. When he thought she was dead, he assaulted her and then hit her in the head with the rock repeatedly. He cleaned himself off and then disposed of her body.
This is his confession?
Between the confession and what police can prove, like, that is what happened.
Okay.
Now, I say assaulted her and in that order because technically he was not convicted of sexual assault. So I can't say that he raped her, but it is assumed.
Chances are. There was no...
He was accused of it. He was accused of sexual assault too.
There was no evidence of that? Like in her autopsy?
Yeah, they couldn't prove it. Yeah, they couldn't prove in the autopsy. His initial confession, which you can find that as well on YouTube, does definitely show that he assaulted her, but that initial confession was also thrown out. Which...
Why?
It sucks whenever that happens.
Why was it thrown out? Like, did they not read him his rights? Or like, what? Do you know?
Probably leading questions. I don't know for a fact, but I do know it was thrown out. So he refused to plead guilty to sexual assault as part of a plea deal. The prosecutor in the case said the main goal was to get a life sentence.
And I mean, if there's not enough evidence to approve a sexual assault, that totally jives. That makes sense. But I'm stuck on the first confession being thrown out. Usually when that happens, it's because
something obviously
they didn't
happened.
read him his rights properly, or and usually that's about it.
Or he asked for a lawyer and they didn't give it. There could be a couple of different reasons, but yeah, something happened and it got tossed. So, I mean, either way, he ended up getting sentenced to 2 life sentences without the possibility of parole for the murder, kidnapping, and carjacking.
Wow.
So once this is all said and done, there was a bill passed due to the murder. The Oregon House of Representatives passed Senate Bill 576, otherwise known as Kaylee's Law. Kaylee's Law clearly defines how campus security officers may appear so that they are not confused for official police officers. It also requires nationwide background checks on all individuals employed as campus security officers and removes the stop and frisk authority of special campus security officers. Now, those little pieces in there are because his vehicle had a cage, like a police officer's car would, fully trapping a student who was doing nothing wrong. And then also the fact that their cars and their uniforms looked very close to
Enforcement.
the police uniforms. 4 years after the violent murder and possible rape of 23-year-old Kaylee Sawyer, her family received a $2 million settlement from the college, which is actually over the cap that they had to pay out. So although they didn't want to like admit fault, I feel like they did claim fault through showing that
Yes.
they were aware by lifting that cap to give them that $2 million. Students, professors, and Bend Police Chief Jim Porter told COCC that its campus public safety department was acting outside of its legal authority and stated that tragic events could result. COCC even paid for an internal safety audit that confirmed the fears of the community and recommended sweeping changes to the conduct and appearances of campus public safety officers. However, COCC did nothing. So this is like leading up to Kaylee's murder. So this is what the settlement is based off of, the fact that they had a lot of red flags, even just to do with Edwin himself, and they did nothing about it. And I will get there. At the time of Kaylee's death, the COCC safety officers wore uniforms that looked like Bend Police Department's uniforms, like I said. The officers were also equipped with pepper spray, ballistic vests, body cameras, handcuffs, and Edwin was driving a vehicle that had a cage and could lock anyone inside the back seat, much like a law enforcement vehicle. COCC had been advised that the college's policy of allowing their security to make traffic stops, arrests, and investigate crimes was improper and unlawful. The security officers did not have the requisite background checks or training required for police officers. The attorneys for Kaylee's family uncovered evidence of serious red flags from Edwin Lara that they said COCC should have acted upon. And this is a quote from Tim Williams, the attorney for the Sawyer family. Members of COCC's campus public safety department knew of Lara's fascination with dead bodies that he showed to numerous people at work, nude photographs and pornographic videos he filmed of himself and a woman he was having an affair with, his mannerisms so alarming that one female cadet refused to ride in the same car as him, and his lying about once being a police officer in Honduras where he saw bodies all chopped up.
Wow. That's what I'm talking about like previous behavior and red flags and stuff. That's what I was talking about earlier. It was there.
It sounds like he kept it for like people that didn't know him well enough to know that he was lying and creating falsehoods, whereas his wife like knew him and knew that he was that would have been full of shit. So maybe like at work he was playing like his fantasy. COCC had the opportunity to discover that Lara once plotted a murder and struggled with an urge to kill most of his life. This tragedy will forever resonate in the heart of our community. So again, that was Tim Williams. A couple years go by. So 2022, Kaylee's family was tortured once again when some of the cremated remains of Kaylee Ann Sawyer were stolen from a Bend storage unit. And the man who pleaded guilty to the theft tossed them in a dumpster behind a Motel 6.
What?
So, yeah, right? So it's just crazy. And so Edwin, like, through what police believe happened and, like, what he was doing, technically he, like, tossed her body twice. So thought she was dead, like, tossed her, and then threw out again. Like, so I end up getting into this quote right here. But one of the people who stole that was John Sue Vieira, and he pleaded guilty in 2022 in a major settlement resolving 16 property crime cases, including the theft of those ashes. Kaylee's mother attended, and this is a quote from her in court. When the defendant was done, he disposed of her body not once, but twice like she was garbage. So this is Julie Van Cleve. And as you were going through my purse, you may have noticed a small green glass heart. And I'm sure that you deemed it worthless and threw it away. Well, to me, that glass heart held everything. And now I need to come to terms with my daughter being thrown away 3 times. When Vieira was arrested the next month at St. Charles Bend, police officers informed him the heart contained the ashes of Kaylee Sawyer, who was 23 at the time of her death. He confirmed he'd thrown it away along with Van Cleve's original wedding ring and a Stay Kaylee Strong necklace that her mother had worn 24/7 throughout the prosecution of Edwin Lara. But you know what? The saddest part out of that is County Circuit Judge Alicia Harriet had to kind of go along with Vieira's global plea deal, and he was only sentenced to 40 months in prison. So, see, even like the smallest of crimes, you know, you're doing it whether it's for drugs or you're doing it because you think that you have to make ends meet. Like, you really don't realize it, but like, even the smallest thing that you think, where you're stealing stuff out of people's storage lots, like, oh, they're not using it every day anyway.
Have no idea.
Sometimes people hide. They protect certain things there as well. Yeah, you have no idea about what you're really doing sometimes, and that's a really good example of that. And when I seen that, like, it was so heartbreaking.
I'll say that's just
horrible.
It is terrible.
This was a pretty lengthy one, especially with like the 911 calls and everything. It's a confusing story. You go and you can read, 30 different interpretations of what happened. It's not really one of those like easy to tell stories because of, all the different stories that he did tell. And the fact that, you look at her and you can see that she was bludgeoned and you can see this and that, but you can't confirm this. And so it's a little bit difficult to talk around it, but either way, she went through something horrible and then her family got tortured after. And it's just
terrible. And the boyfriend too, he must feel like a complete piece of crap.
He probably struggled with guilt for a while, but if I know like anything from what I've seen, his family and her family would have gathered around him tight enough to show him that it wasn't his fault. And I think that through that closeness, he would have been able to recover eventually and heal like a normal person instead of somebody who felt guilty of somebody else's actions.
For the rest of his life. It probably changed him forever, but
like if her family blamed him or something like that, then like, he probably would have like, I can only imagine. But, even like before she was murdered, they could see a very bright future that she could have with him. And that's
very sad.
Didn't this one just like kind of like beat you down a little bit?
It did.
Because I imagine the heartbeat, like the ashes being taken, and I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Because
you go through the loss of a child and then in such a violent way, you finally find her body, you get some semblance of justice, and then to have things stolen from you, it's like
reopening a wound
in the worst
like
way.
Spitting in it. Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's horrible. Okay.
Good story.
We can't dwell. So
On to the
Until
next
one.
Yeah, on to the next. Okay.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the podcast and share with your friends. If you don't mind giving us a 5-star rating, it will help our show grow.
You can also find us on Facebook or TikTok, where the discussion can continue. If you wish to contact us, you may do so via email at truecrimestorypod@gmail.com.
Remember to send in your podcast episodes, case suggestions, or requests. Hop over to our Patreon for bonus content, or you can go to buymeacoffee.com to support the show.
Thank you so much for listening.
I'm Bree,
And I'm Shar.
and we'll see you in the next chapter. Bye.
Bye.